Breaking news today. Sunak assures Zelensky that British support for Ukraine will never waver. The historic significance of Volodymyr Zelensky's trip to the G7 summit in Hiroshima was hailed by Rishi Sunak, who also called the real breakthrough in Ukraine's pursuit of advanced fighter jets a huge deal. The Prime Minister of Ukraine has stated that any agreement reached between his country and Russia must usher in lasting peace, rather than just a ceasefire that hands land to Vladimir Putin. According to Mr. Sunak, sending the Ukrainian president to the summit of world leaders in Japan sends a powerful message to the Russian leader. America will permit its allies to sell Ukraine F-16 fighter planes. An American F-16 pilot who supports giving Western jets to Ukraine says he would even volunteer. In order to fight Russia, Ukraine's defense minister has extended an invitation to foreign F-16 pilots. In his words, "Their security is our security," which means that the United States will always support Ukraine. "We have to and will prove that aggressively expanding one's territory through force is fruitless. To talk about how desperately we need peace, there's no better place to do it than in Hiroshima." The Prime Minister visited the memorial honoring the city as the site of the first nuclear bombing and expressed his profound emotion over the experience. On Sunday, Mr. Zelensky met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has remained neutral regarding the Russian invasion, and then addressed the G7 leaders in meetings. It's safe to assume that Vladimir Putin would rather not see photos of Petro Poroshenko shaking hands with Narendra Modi. It is unclear if Mr. Sunak, who has expressed a desire to discuss his position with the Indian Prime Minister, brought up Ukraine during their meeting on Sunday. Both London and New Delhi's reports ignored the conflict. At the summit, Vice President Joe Biden of the United States gave his blessing for the transfer of F-16 fighter jets from the West to Ukraine. Mr. Sunak stated, "We are supporting Ukraine to develop the air force it needs for the future, with the UK training Ukrainian pilots beginning this summer. And with President Biden's backing for an international coalition to supply F-16s, we've made real progress at this summit." After landing, Mr. Zelensky met Mr. Sunak and admitted that the Ukrainian side had suffered a setback in the battle for Bakhmut, a city in eastern Ukraine that Moscow claims to have captured after months of fighting. "It's important to realize," he said, "that everything in the city is viewed as strategically significant. They wiped out the whole place. Bakhmut exists only in our hearts for the time being." Alina Vorontyina, a music teacher at Narva Old Town State School, told AIR in an interview that she would wear the controversial shirt she wore on May 9, which featured an insulting message directed at Vladimir Putin, again if given the chance. On the Sunday morning program, Homik Anuga, Vorontyina discussed not only her act and its aftermath, but also the perspectives of Narva residents. "Knowing how much a stir it would cause, why did you go ahead and wear that shirt anyway? I just couldn't say no. My response was inevitable. I felt compelled to speak up because the lack of open discussion about these issues in our culture troubles me greatly. Ours is a highly divisive society, with advocates on opposite sides of every issue. We have speculated on what might have happened if I had been seen in public wearing a shirt protesting the war or advocating for peace. But despite this, nobody backs the war. Each side believes they are the ones working toward peace. I wanted it to be perfectly clear that I opposed Putin's aggressive actions. Everyone opposes the war, obviously, but the sources of your opposition may vary.